Now we're going live. And now we're live.
Oh,
Wel- welcome everybody. All right. I do have a slight issue. We'll just take care of that right now. There we go. This is
mhm.
we now have Jensen involved. All right. I've actually put
Hello.
my little icons up as well. So
Hmm.
say hello to the folks while I go ahead and shut my door here, Jensen. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Hello, everybody. Who knows what's going to be said? And I mean, literally, who knows? Because this is one of those random chats. In fact, we are literally in the process of discussing Nathan Bedford Forrest and
Yes.
the Fort Pillow massacre. So that should give you an idea. This is just the beginning. It is going to literally go. Hey, I'm not even going to bother try and guess where this conversation could go.
Well, there's a number of different areas that we're going to talk about that I want to just pick your brain about. But the Fort Pillow massacre, what do you know about
Um, Absolutely bugger all apart from anything you may have mentioned. But let's be honest, mate. You are talking to a person who had trouble remembering his own name.
it?
So
Okay, Fort Pillow.
assume it that I've got no idea.
All right, let's start with the
Though,
fact.
hold it
Mhm.
before you do, I've got. How can you guys not call it a pillow fight? I mean, honestly, it is begging for that stupid joke
Oh,
right there,
okay.
and you
Well,
know Batman would.
first of all, you're correct. I don't deny that. But
Hmm.
Fort Pillow was a Confederate general. All right. The
Wow,
now
what a
he
name!
was quickly. He's not a well known federal general. I mean a Confederate general because
Yeah.
he had the dubious honor of meeting Grant early.
Ah,
Okay,
okay,
and as a result, they took the Union forces took Fort Pillow. Okay,
okay.
and so they had been holding Fort Pillow for quite a while. All right, but it was in the kind of the rear areas. And Nathan Bedford Forrest, of course, was a cavalry commander. Cavalry
Yes.
served two purposes. All right, during
Hmm.
during the Civil War. One was raiding. All right.
Yes.
The other one, of course, was scouting. But the raiding part was a very important aspect of interfering with the logistics chains. Okay.
Yeah.
This is why when we talk about railroads and things like that. Well, if you're ripping up the railroads constantly, it's kind of hard. It's still kind of hard to move supplies. Make sense?
Uh, well, we use it nowadays. I believe it's called something like Operation Iron Snake. So yeah.
Yeah, but you understand it because you're former military. You understand that armies travel on their stomachs. Okay, we travel
Obviously.
we travel on logistics. I mean, it is what it
Yeah.
is. Okay,
Yeah.
but we didn't have that option. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, back in the Civil War days. So they decided to, of course, they Fort Pillow being on a river and something of uh, kind of a choke point, not a very important
Hmm.
one, but a choke point nonetheless. They decided
Yeah.
to put civic, federal military in there, right?
Yeah.
Now after 1863, and between 1863 and 1864, you have the Union decide that they're going to go ahead and allow black soldiers to serve finally, right?
Okay.
That they're going to allow them to serve in the military. And people don't understand this, but it was a huge issue back then. But they served almost completely with distinction.
Hmm.
Nathan Bedford Forrest performed a raid where he recaptured the fort. Okay,
Hmm.
and then marched out 100 and something black soldiers and executed them because they were black.
Hmm.
Now, there is some historical debate as to whether or not how involved Bedford Forrest was. in and of himself. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. The fact is you are the commander. You are responsible for the
Oh
actions of
yeah.
your men. Okay. And whether you agreed with it or disagreed with it you still have to you still have to take into the fact that you were responsible for the massacres that took place. You don't execute surrendered soldiers. I don't care who they are.
No.
Okay. Now, that being said, you don't you don't execute surrendered soldiers if at all possible. Okay. There are
Yes.
times when that isn't possible. For people who don't understand this, there's times when that's not possible.
Yeah.
Okay, especially if you're on a deep recon type of mission. All right, and you grab a soldier, you can't afford them the enemy from finding out, and you have no way of actually holding the enemy soldier without releasing him,
Mm-hmm.
and you know when you release the enemy soldier, he is going to endanger your troops and your mission. Hate to say it,
Yep.
but you're going to be executed unless you got some stupid
Makes
freaking
perfect sense.
unless you got some stupid idiot in charge. But if I'm in charge, you're being executed. And I say that
Yep.
because we've done stupid things like that. We've had stupid commanders that have done
Yep.
dumb shit like
Hey, Sixer.
I wish for all to stand up and sing the new British national anthem. Sorry.
That's the worst part. You're not necessarily that far off, mate.
We are not far off. We're bloody here.
that. Well,
Yeah, depressing.
Jensen wants to basically create a new rule Britannia, but it's going to be along the lines of Pax Americana.
I still think, and I'm going to say it nice and loud, I don't want there to be any error here. England and America working together would be a truly fucking terrifying thing. I mean, America is pretty damn scary, and let's be honest, Britain still has, air quotes, its moments, but put them together and
No, you're saying that you're saying the far lefts on the boat in the United Kingdom and the United States. Yes, that would be scary.
yeah, no, that's the point. I've already suggested to Nomad that we can. I'm actually cool if we actually become the 51st state. I'm hoping you can give me an email that I can send off the suggestion to. I realise we're going to have to wait until the real president comes in, not the potato.
You're not potato brain.
Or the knee basher. That's right. I don't care.
Not mush, not tapioca boy or heels.
In all fairness, she's not the one that bothers me.
Oh,
it's that. Oh no! It's that Waltz guy.
Oh, well,
that guy grinds my freaking gears.
Okay.
And you know why?
I'm just I have a suspicion. Okay, I've got a few suspicions.
Only a suspicion.
Well, because Jensen can be somewhat complicated, and he can also overlook certain things. All right, you have to understand that about Jensen. he can be just like I am at times, very single-minded toward an objective.
Yes.
So I have to ask. All right, and mainly for the audience's sake, but I'm just out of your curiosity. What is it about Mr. Waltz boy that you absolutely despise?
He's a fucking commie.
And that's your compliment. Okay. And I will answer this, and I will actually answer this to CSG, who is in the chat. First of all, hey dude, good to see you again, mate. It's nice to know that everything's still okay. And the reason I don't like the scumbag is the fact that he's stolen valor.
Oh, that, yes.
I keep my calm about this because I do not allow myself
you keep me calm better than I would have said, being from a military family, so that's kind of rubbed me up the wrong fucking way.
The man is, I'd call him trash, but that's an insult to trash. Trash at least is useful.
If you wish to come in, you're more than welcome to come in. Okay.
I'm already here. Oh, sorry.
No, he's talking to CSG.
Yeah, I'm talking to CSG. You're already here.
I know. I just said that.
You've already absconded your place. You have your chair. The music hasn't stopped. You're good to go.
Better than that, you've even got your own icon, mate. You're real.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
a real boy now.
he does.
Joy. Am I, father? Am I?
Okay.
It's only the fact that you find out that guy liked to bend over in front of him and say, "Tell a lie, tell a lie."
Okay. Let's go into the first of all, the stolen valor stuff.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with. It disgusts me because he tried to claim something. He tried to claim that he was in a combat zone when he never.
He
never
found a way to
served.
get out of it, didn't he? He tried to worm his way out of it, and he succeeded.
Sixer, it's worse. He bottled it, to use the British term.
Well, isn't it worm out, bottled it? To me, it's all saying to me. Either way, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
he's a coward.
I don't.
It'd be the equivalent of a draft dodger if that was the case.
Well,
yeah.
There are things that I suspect that you don't know. All right. That when you start talking about why to dislike the individual. Okay. Now, Sixer started off with the first reason. Right? Let's be honest. He's a cop. Okay. 2.
Yeah.
He claimed he was in a battle zone, trying to make an excuse for things. All right. And then started talking a bunch of trash about it because he was trying to hammer up about, weapons, quote unquote, weapons of war. Right. The weapons he carried in war. Right. As if he ever carried a weapon in war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it gets better than that. Okay.
Oh, God.
Jensen. What do your senior NCOs carry in battle? Do they carry a rifle or do they carry a sidearm?
Sidearm.
So this guy was whinging about carrying a pistol into battle?
It was a rifle, he said he was carrying a rifle.
Right, he wasn't carrying a rifle though because he was a senior NCO. Guess what?
Yeah.
You're not issued those. You are issued a sidearm. He was quote unquote.
Yeah.
He all right. I'm just pointing this out to you guys, to everybody. All right. So already it's like, okay, so you were already talking out your ass, even if you had served in a combat zone. You were talking about getting rid of pistols. That was his big thing.
Okay. Wasn't he posted in Italy or Spain? I can't remember what it was.
He did get posted in Italy early on. Okay, so let's dispense with that. That's strike 2. Okay, here's strike 3. Okay, the bastard. Okay, got picked up for a.
Hey, that's not fair, and bastards.
The guy got picked up for a DUI. How the hell did he ever make rank and keep his rank? There is no U.S. service member, all right, that at that time, because when he got picked up, it was 1995. They were death on drinking and driving, and I mean death. Yeah. And he wasn't just a little over the limit; he was way over the limit. Okay, this is something that ends careers in the U.S. military. I have seen it happen. Yeah. I saw a measly E5, which is just a regular sergeant. You just put on the sergeant stripes, lose his entire career because of that, and they do not allow you to re-enlist.
So whose cock did he suck then?
Well, this is the question. Okay, so what the hell's going on here? Because I am frankly curious to see if this guy was ever disciplined for this. Because I guarantee you, with his job as a battalion sergeant major, I guarantee you he ruined other people's careers over it.
Oh yeah, and if I may posit a suggestion here, the question is who did he know? Okay. That is, I think, where it goes. It's more of a who do you know? Because, put it bluntly, it doesn't matter if he got on his knees and made prayers. Yeah, But that's just literally that is just the added bonus for them. No, it's who he knew, and that's what you need to find out is who he knew. Yep, that's the one.
he was disappointed, but just wasn't told off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disciplined you mean like this? Oh, baby, harder, baby. Oh, harder.
Hit me, daddy. Hit me harder.
Hit me, daddy. Harder, daddy. Harder.
Now, he should already be out on those.
Oh yeah.
Then there's the, oh, by the way, I'm an absolute degenerate. This bastard
Yep.
ordered
I'm not going to make
in the schools of Minnesota as the governor to put tampons in the boys' restrooms of all the public schools.
Which is why he was given the nickname of Tampon Tim. If
But we're not done.
Yep.
Of course we're not.
We're not done. Of course not.
Because,
of course not. Of course.
Because there is a medical, or there's a story that purports to say that there was a medical incident with this individual where he did the old Rod Stewart and the horse thing.
I almost dread to ask.
Yes.
Me too.
Servicing the horse.
Oh God, it was exactly what I thought it was. Okie dokie.
Wilbur.
Oh, golly.
A horse is a horse, of course, of course.
Unless you're throwing up its semen. Anyway, this guy.
He wasn't the Italian stallion type either.
Has got people.
Okay.
That's a great line. I'm sorry.
It was hung like a donkey.
Yeah, I just have to ask, all right, and it's my brain. It has to ask this question. Please tell me that the horse was female.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know how it identified itself and still produced seed.
I used to say he was doing the deed. He might have been one receiving.
He had his stomach pumped with horse semen. Okay.
Oh lordy.
Okay, so you understand that this guy and what shocked me, all right, was on Twitter, where these females are like, "Oh, this is someone that's like my grandpa. I would love to just, if I was growing up, to have this guy and hold his hands and come over and take care of my kids." And my comment back to that person was that before or after he's had his horse cocktail?
I was about to say, but look, if he brings a horse, but then tell him to fuck off.
This guy. I mean, look, this guy's a degenerate. This is the reason why we have Mr. Drag Queen, all right, running around in the government going, I'm in charge of the nuclear safety and everything, in a dress with a full beard while he steals luggage, all right, from carousels on airplanes. This is how you get these people.
I mean, he's calling him a degenerate. It's not really exactly fair of my favorite wrestling team known as D-Generation X. I mean, come on.
But I'd like something noted here now, Ed. I didn't know about these other things, and I still thought the guy was scum. Adding to that just literally is pouring fuel on the fire as to why I don't like this man. Okay, if you're trying to talk me into never considering giving him, human rights, you succeeded. He doesn't deserve them. Okay.
Right, and this is Kamala's first example of a pick of an individual. Her first. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you just what kind of people I'm going to pick for my cabinet. The horse consented sex, so it wasn't bestiality. Beyond.
Well, if you think about it, him and Kamala go well together. I mean, she looks like a horse anyway, just her teeth. She cackles like a horse. So perfect.
Oh my God. I feel sick suggesting this, but dear old Timmy boy and AOC. I'm just going to leave that there.
Isn't that how
my
you get,
brain makes?
Isn't that how you get Crimea?
Sitting in a tree.
Isn't that how you get Chimeras? I'm just pointing this out, right? I think that's how Griffin started out this way, right? Or Manticores, one of the two.
Oh lordy! But yeah, that's my reason for not liking the dude. I think with the information you've given, it is just even further proof that I was correct.
Okay, so I'm surprised that you even brought him up, Jensen. I was not going this way.
And that's what the horse said. Yeah.
Leave me
AOC
alone.
is too hot for him, to be honest. Oh my goodness. It's not wrong. If you once again, Jason, if you want to come on in, feel free. Yeah, no, it is what it is, right?
Mhm.
The you have a couple things that have happened recently as far as from a campaign perspective. First thing,
Yeah.
the second thing or the first thing I want to talk about with that was Kamala Harris just screwed up big time.
Yeah.
In that,
When she has not screwed up, let's be honest.
Well, no, I'm talking about screwing up her campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're getting ready, you've now agreed that somehow you're going to have to debate Trump. No shit. We all knew that was coming. All right. And so you announced today the first actual policy announcement you announced today. Right? That because rather than Orange Man bad. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, he's gonna bring in the Antichrist. He's gonna sit up there and take us all back to slavery. Women are gonna be back in chains, stuck to the kitchen. Okay, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Blah. Instead of all that, she actually created her first campaign. You know what her first policy statement was?
Go on.
Was it about abortion or something?
No, she's agreeing with Trump to end taxes on tips. So you basically just said. The guy you called an evil hordes Hitler, you agree with him that the taxes that you are in charge of right now, oh yeah, we need to end that. Well, the question then becomes, first of all, nice pivot, bitch. Why haven't you done anything with it exactly for 4 friggin' years? Right? You're a lying sack of shit.
Yeah. You were the vice president. Why haven't you done anything?
Well, hold on, because she's the vice president. But what else is she? What position does the vice president hold?
Don't answer that one without getting yourself in trouble. Be very careful, Sixer.
Keeping my mouth. I can't say anything because I got my mouth full of gummies. So
good. Yeah, that's also a problem for her. But yeah, all right. Okay, go on. Do tell, Nomad.
Okay.
Do tell.
She is the president pro tem of the Senate. So when there's a tie in the Senate, she is the deciding vote.
Oh,
and
yes.
And yes, she's been called upon to exercise that vote. Well, you've had the chance to do this now in Congress where you write legislation, and before that you were a senator, to write legislation to end taxes on tips for how long? Do you really think Trump's going to let you get away with that? Oh, I come up with an actual idea that's going to help people, and you see that people, hey, wait a minute, this is a thing that's going to, this is getting real popular, so I've got to sit there and I'll tell people I'm going to do it, because you're never going to do it. You've had decades to do it, bitch, and you haven't done shit. And if you don't think Trump will say it in a very similar manner to what I just said, maybe he doesn't use the word bitch, but if he doesn't say, you've had all this time to do this, all right, and you've had decades to do it, and you haven't even proposed it once, go F yourself, because they're not going to do it now.
Excuse me a moment. Apparently, one of many reasons she doesn't like him, but one of the major reasons is apparently he's called her a bitch. How dare he do that? So yeah, I think he would actually.
Where's the lie?
Not on national TV.
Where's the lie?
That's the sad part.
Mind you, she was a hot bitch 20 years ago.
No, she wasn't.
After 20 years ago, look at her now. But what the fuck happened?
20 years ago, she was better looking 20 years ago. I'll agree with that, but that doesn't make her hot. Okay.
Oh no, she's probably still exactly the same person inside, but. Oh.
I mean, it was good enough to sit up there and compromise a mayor and when he was married.
That's why she should never got into politics. She just stayed up and being someone's eye candy, a side, arm
She was
ornament.
not pretty enough to be side candy. What the hell?
She was.
No.
She was. She was for someone else. I think she is.
No.
Oh, I love what he's triggered. I love it when he gets triggered. It's great.
No.
It adds to the fun. But to be honest, I can honestly say that there was not a point that I would be interested in her, and I'm using that term real loosely. I'm trying not to say that, but I would not be interested in this individual.
Yeah, now I know what she's like. No, damn right, I wouldn't. No, even if I time traveled back to where she was, I still wouldn't be, because I know what sort of person she is. Hell no. If I knew that about my ex-wife, I would have avoided her completely.
Even CSG's agreeing that she was cheap and easy.
she was just
yeah, because she wanted to get somewhere, didn't she? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's clever. She's a survivor, and she's a manipulator.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sounds like my ex-wife again. Those two should get well together. Then. They should get on well together. Those two.
Yeah, you really sure you want to get them two together, dude? I mean, really?
As long as we're away, they can scissor each other in a distance.
Look, the fact is, I'm not going to go into their sexuality or anything. The only reason even sexuality even was brought up was due to the horse semen thing. All right, it's not a matter. It's not a matter of.
I'm an ass.
It's a matter of her policies and her inability of actually having a freaking two brain cells working together. All right, for independent thought. She has no independent thoughts. Yeah. Okay, she is not.
She has no brain cells.
She is someone. She is not a leader. She's a follower. And I want that really. Yes. I want people to understand that she freezes when she has to make decisions. She lets other people do this. She doesn't make decisions on her own because she can't. And the decisions she makes on her own are all based not on thought. They're based on emotion. Okay, what's my emotional context here? She does not have the ability to peer into the future and say, here's what the results are going to be. All right, this is why she.
Matt,
what?
Just want to say to you, can you imagine what it's going to be like when she has the debate with Trump? It's going to be positively hilarious. The funny thing is he would actually do better if he shut up and let her dig her own grave and just periodically toss a little bit of red meat in to enjoy. I mean, seriously, I hate to say this, but I actually think that Biden probably would have done better than her against Trump. She doesn't have the personality for it. At least Biden had experience.
The problem, the problem that Biden had, all right, was he chose the debate, and they tried to limit the damage by saying, okay, we're going to shut off the mic so that people can't hear what else is being said. All right, when the other person's trying to say something. Okay, this is not something Trump is comfortable with. Okay, he's not.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
And because he likes to talk. He's a freaking bombastic blowhard. Okay, he loves the sound of his own voice. All right.
Yes.
That's a reality of who Trump is. So they thought that by doing this, they could really toss Trump off his game. The problem was it put Biden's faux pas. It caused them to stand out. That's why Trump was looking at him and said, "Well, what do you say about that? About what Biden said?" I said, "I don't know what Biden said. And I don't think he knows either." That line, all right, will never go away because he didn't know what he was talking about. He was meandering all over the place. You were like, "What the hell? You're not even answering the question. Let alone do you even remember what the question is?" Because I don't think he did. I think he forgot what the question was asking when he went in there. Now.
All right.
What's her name?
Before you continue, Nomad, hold up. I just want to say that CSG has come up with an absolutely glorious comment, okay? don't ask Harris to toss anything. She only knows one way of tossing. He is not wrong. I absolutely support that statement, sir. That, yes, 10 out of 10.
We'll call it Well, what it is you want to call it the OnlyFans debate. Is that what you're trying to say? That this should be done on OnlyFans?
Hey, Oz,
Okay.
how are ya?
It's actually, it's actually slightly worse for the simple fact I've now got the mental image of Trump on OnlyFans.
I'm just saying.
Thanks.
He'll be on OnlyFans. He'll be the greatest OnlyFans ever. Best in the world.
Okay. Look, hey,
I'll do a good job. I'll do a better job than Horseface Kamala.
So if you're all gonna blame me for this, you just have to understand that Jensen decided to kick off this whole thing with a DM to me of one of the porn stars. So I don't want to hear it. It's degenerated from that point. Thank you, Jensen. You're on your own now.
Oh, I can pull you on this one. Say, I dare you to put it up. And I'll own it. I will happily own it. I said that.
You're making me work in it. It is not as easy as you think it is because I'm in so much pain.
I understand. All right. You know what? I'll let you off for that one, mate. Okay. You don't have to do it, but I'll own it, and I don't give a monkey.
It sounds kind of stupid, but it's really the way I have to look at the screens right now. I feel like I'm in a robot. Right, where I gotta move over and I can't type. I cannot type. Okay.
It's funny you're talking about robots. Seeing Oz is here. How is Shirati, by the way, Oz? Hope everything's okay, mate. I had to do it.
All right.
I missed something. What was that? What?
We're gonna switch.
You call Shirati a robot? Okay.
Well, she's napping.
That's my compute.
She's plugged in.
Recharge mode.
I don't want to know what sort of adapter they had to use.
Well, she gets.
Was it a straight socket or was it a two-pin combination?
No, it's Wi-Fi. Okay, we're gonna switch.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna drop because I want to get ready. I might do a stream tonight, so I want to get everything sorted.
You look after yourself, my dude.
All
Speak to you later.
Take care. Have a good one.
Bye
Bye bye.
And off goes Sixer.
Yes.
Okay, now
you're left with what classes as the intelligent two now, everyone.
Let's now switch gears a little bit because I do have a question. Right?
Yes, go
I
for it.
mentioned this yesterday. All right, with what the Ukrainians were doing when they invaded Russia.
yeah, about that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's your opinion on this? I am honestly curious.
Okay, I actually think it was a really stupid thing that they've done.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Why is that?
Because they're actually going to lose the victim card a lot by doing this. Now, I'm not saying that the victim, basically claiming himself as the victim, is a good thing, but they're actually going to lose that. They haven't got the, we're only doing this defending our land. No, you're now taking land. If you was getting your own land back, that's fine. That's absolutely full support. You are still the defender. You are still the air quotes victim. But the moment you actually start taking land from the other side, unless you think you can actually hold it, which I'm going to put it bluntly, I don't think Ukraine can. But if you can hold it, then fine. Yeah, but let's assume you can't.
There's no possible way they can hang on to that land in any way, shape, or form. Okay. To me, it was more of a diversionary attack to try and relieve pressure from the other fronts of the war. Right?
Makes sense.
And that's not necessarily a bad idea, right? But how effective is this really going to be? Because just like the Russians, all right, invading, coming in, you have to create then a logistics trail, all right, to maintain that. And I think it's been pretty well shown that the logistics are the problem. Maintaining security on logistics is the problem in this war, right?
Yes.
Both for the Russians and for the Ukrainians. So I think it was kind of it's a rob Peter to pay Paul scenario, in my opinion.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
Did it hurt the Russians? Yes. Was it effective in a certain regard? They were able to wipe out a column of 400 Russian soldiers for the cost of a few drones. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good ratio. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Maintaining that though, I just don't see it. I just don't see
No.
them being able to maintain that. They did
Which
attack.
again goes back to our point of holding it.
Yeah, they did attack a rig in the Black Sea.
Okay.
Right, killing a few more Russians doing that once again.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't change the dynamic on the ground. Okay, now they have. Let's be perfectly frank here. They have shown the Russians the folly of their naval fleet. Right, their how good is their navy? I think it's pretty evident now that their navy is not what people want it to be. Okay,
Yeah.
And I mean it when I say people want it to be, and that includes
Yeah.
a few American admirals that would love to sit up there and talk how big, bad, and dangerous the Russian fleet is, so that they can thereby say, oh, we need more weapon systems for ourselves to deal with this situation.
Oh yeah. If they're not careful, they could actually lose a lot of money on this because they're shown to be, to say the least, rather effective against Russia and its firearms.
Yeah, it's the Russian military was not as far as the Navy goes. They are not a very. They've never really had a big Navy victory that I can think of historically.
Well,
They're not a naval power. Okay.
This is going to sound like I'm defending the Russians here a bit, but let's be honest, mate. They basically had the British Navy there to stop anyone else from coming around to give them crap. And to put it bluntly,
They let the
the
British
only
Navy let them sail a navy all around the Horn of Africa over to Japan, only to get hit that entire fleet sank by the Japanese.
exactly who's feeding fresh red meat. What's
Okay,
your oh? You didn't
the
expect that? Okay.
Germans have had to contend with that same British fleet their entire freaking lives and have come out much better. You have to admit that.
I do, but let's be completely fair, mate. The Germans were an incredibly efficient bunch, especially when it comes to industrial stroke military. Nowadays, not so much.
Well, the Germans are an industrious people. They can get back to that. They just got to get rid of their leadership because their leadership is absolutely failing them completely.
I completely agree. That's why I said currently they aren't so hot, but they were really quite good.
Yes, I don't disagree.
So their navy, while not up to the Royal Navy's standards of its time,
oh, I disagree with that. I disagree totally with that. I think the German Navy, ship for ship, was superior to the British Navy. Ship by ship, on a 1-to-1 basis, would you rather have been in a British battleship or a German battleship?
I can see your point there,
Okay.
but I would make note.
But you always had 6-to-1.
Well, yeah, we had more, but then again, okay, I have to. Isn't that literally the American way of doing things? Having more and better. Thank you. So technically, you should be cheering us on here. But the point being,
I'm not going to deny that. although
only go on, you first.
The one thing that the Germans never did, I've never understood this about the Germans. Okay, you created this entire massive machine called the Luftwaffe that everyone was terrified of, right?
Yes.
And your biggest, baddest battleship, which it was, right, sails into the Atlantic and can't shoot down a biplane.
Yes.
You're not going to
Yeah,
have an
I know.
America. That would never happen to America. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but let's equally be honest, dude. Okay, of that sort of tech level, you guys are basically super gluing machine guns onto the side of your ship every 2 to 3 foot if you thought you could get away with it.
Well, okay, but the Germans, I mean, they're very similar in that regard, except they
Yeah.
don't want a machine gun. They want a how big cannon can we put on there? Let's go 2 millimeters
Yeah,
more.
no,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
I mean
I'm not.
that's
Look,
their standard.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. I mean, it was. I just found it absolutely hilarious that you guys took down the the Bismarck with a torpedo plane that could only fly 120 miles an hour.
That's not actually completely accurate. I hate to say this because I'm now going to go against the British slightly. We'd also used several one-man subs to attack it, and that didn't do so great. But it weakened and slowed it down enough that the biplane could do its business.
And,
The point is
and
it needed that.
but they couldn't shoot it down. If you would,
I
if
agree.
that was the Pacific, all right, if that had been even the Japanese wouldn't have tried an attack like that. Kamikaze Banzai, no, we're not doing it with this. Okay, I want it to be known that there was no way
That's
that
true.
they were going to do this. All right, but the Germans were like, huh, well, we're invincible. This is the problem with the Germans is when they get their arrogance up, which doesn't take much. Puff them up a little bit,
No.
give them a praiser once or twice, and next thing you know, they're off a freaking mountain somewhere, right? But you puff them up a little bit, and they think that they can't be stopped. I mean, for crying out loud, one of the things that they all bitched about, right, after the war, after World War One, right, one of the things that was pointed out to the German high command was just how blowful and how dangerous it was because the British were reading their secret codes that they were trying to transmit via radio.
Yeah.
Okay, so they came up with, of course, the Enigma machine, and then
Yeah.
because they had the Enigma, okay, we no longer need freaking radio security anymore.
I didn't say that they were good at things.
Okay,
I
now
was just
at some point, repetition should have kicked in and said, "Well, wait a minute here. We thought that earlier, and we lost. Why are we doing the same thing again? Why would you do
Yeah.
that?"
Technically, you're actually just ending up agreeing with me here with my whole point about the German Navy, while being quite efficient, was still not as good as the Brits. And you literally argued that they weren't as
I
good as the
said
Brits.
ship for ship, okay, and I was
Yeah.
talking the standards on those ships. You cannot
Oh, no,
argue about that.
no, I will agree with you there. But and as a counter of all of this is number of the British ships that were famous for getting their ass kicked in that the Hood. A number of German ships that were known for getting their ass kicked. Yeah, I don't think the Hood cost quite as much as the Bismarck, do you? So pound for
No.
pound, we win.
Well, yeah, but you hunted the Bismarck with how many battleships, how many torpedo ships, how many cruisers, and how many aircraft carriers were involved in that hunt?
This is true.
Okay.
This is very, very true.
Now,
And I'm going to use the American quote against you here. Are you ready, mate?
yeah,
Don't touch our boats.
hey, I get it. I'm not arguing that point. All right,
Okay.
I've, I've not said anything about all I was trying to point out is ship for ship, the German ships were freaking awesome on the ship. The one other thing that I would say about the German commanders, and let's be perfectly frank, the German admirals are intelligent, but
Might have word but.
they're not they don't have the damn the torpedoes full speed ahead, we're going out in a blaze of glory. They
No,
don't have
that is true.
That is, and that's which is odd because the ground forces do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the ships, they never. Let's if Hipper would have said screw it, okay, and just gone full bore, okay, at Jutland, the Germans
Yeah.
would have lost. Okay, the Germans would have lost,
Mm-hmm.
but the damage done would have ended or come close to ending the blockade.
Yes.
Okay, it was that close. Okay, because the Germans, people forget this, the Germans can build very quickly. Okay,
Yes.
they could have replaced their losses very fast, and the British, when the British decide to do it, they can do it. But for the most part, you guys take your time. We're gonna sit there.
Oh no, it's very true. Ours are far more
and,
how
and
to
you
put it.
guys, I mean, when we first put out the Liberty ships, for example, and let's be
Yeah.
perfectly frank, the Liberty ships, okay, you can say they were seaworthy, but you were stretching
Arguable.
it a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, because they were slapped together just to get them in the water to carry cargo, right? And they
Yeah.
were rapidly slapped together. You guys had the potential to do that and never did it. Why? Because, well, that's that. How could you let something like that out to float? You'd be embarrassed.
Exactly.
Americans, people, people forget this. We as Americans, we're just like, look, let's get it done. All right? if this is what it takes to get it done, let's get it done. This is the reason why we produced the Sherman. By the time we
Mm-hmm.
really started going against the heavier German armor, all right, on the actual continent, okay, we already
Yeah.
knew that the German armor was was not going to be penetrated by the Shermans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the 75 millimeter gun was not. It was an effective addition to support ground troop and infantry campaigns. All right, but tank on tank warfare was not what it was created for, and it was not going to sit up there and punch through the German heavier armor. Right, the Panzer IVs and the Tigers, you were screwed. Right,
Yes.
we shipped them all anyway. Okay, we in other words, we already knew that this was not the answer to this, that we needed the up armored and the up gunned systems, and they were working on those. Okay,
Yes.
they just never, the war didn't last long enough for us to try and deploy them, thankfully.
The war didn't last long enough because you missed the first half. But carry on. I'm never going to let that one go. Just letting you know right now.
Your invitations
You
to
turned up
your
lights.
invitations to the war got lost in the mail.
Germans must have sunk the ship with the post on it. What can I say?
Okay, just pointing it out. And let's be honest, the way you guys invite people to wars don't lend to let's jump on with these guys. Now, granted, all right, after the first one, the big problem was the First World War, all right, because America's attitude toward the First World War, people were very angry in America.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and part of that had to do with the politics involved. Okay, we went there,
Mm-hmm.
and we went there under the rhetoric of Woodrow Wilson to fight the last big war. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and as Americans, we believed that. We did. We
Yeah.
followed that. When Wilson came back, however, and couldn't convince the Senate to sign the Treaty of Versailles, and we never did,
Yeah.
by the way, people don't know that. We never
Actually, I
ratified.
did not know that.
We
Okay.
did not ratify the Treaty of Versailles. Okay,
Hmm.
because it required Senate. It requires Senate approval. You have
Yeah.
to get it approved by 2/3 of the Senate with the
Mm-hmm.
consent of the Senate. So because of that, Americans are like, well, then why the hell did we go over there? They're just going to do it again.
Minor aside, is it true that you guys didn't sign the Geneva Convention? I don't know for definite, but I've heard that you guys didn't.
The Geneva Convention rules. There are aspects of the Geneva Convention which depends on which Geneva Convention you're talking about. All right, we've signed on to some things, we have not signed on to other things. For example, one of the ones where they sit up there and said you can't use mines. You know, the landmines are banned.
Yep.
Yeah. No, we're never going to sign that. Okay, just gonna put it right out there. Landmines are going to always be around for the U.S. military. Why? Because they're effective.
Yes.
Okay. They are part of.
Keep me in a job.
Okay.
Just saying, keep me in a job, man.
Well, our enemies aren't gonna worry about it. If there's
That's
something
true.
that we've learned is that no matter what we sign, the enemy's not.
That's true.
All right. So why are you asking us to sign it? Why don't you sit there and make sure Iran sits there and doesn't sign on that thing? Right. When you get Iran to sit up there and give up the IEDs, we'll sit up there and think about maybe landmine removal.
Oh, and you may or may not know about this. I'm going to assume probably not, but apparently you lot have decided to start shipping F-22s over to the Middle East. You heard about that?
Not exactly.
Ah, okay.
We have sent F-22s with their pilots over to the Middle East. We did not give them to anybody. They are still. We're not going to give them.
Okay.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
You guys are British, right? The one thing that you guys learned is you need air support, right?
Yes.
What's the best air support aircraft you could have right now?
Don't say B-52s. Don't say
no.
B-52s. No, you got to admit it's good air support.
That's not air support. That's for pounding. All right.
Exactly. The enemy do not get to fire back if you've turned everything for basically a 5-mile radius into a really big crater.
And it's not a one crater. You just go in with 80 500-pound bombs and 12 of these things. Just kind of, well, they do what a puff does in a sweep, but with bombs. Okay.
Like I said, do you not agree that is good air support?
It's a crowd control weapon. All right, the people on the ground aren't real happy if they're in the area, whether they're your troops or theirs.
So says the American. What
a shock! Now, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Oh no. Oh no. You are completely correct. I'm just making it very clear. So says the American when discussing the idea of friendly fire.
Well,
we've had that conversation more than once.
We learned that from Cornwallis, so I don't want to hear about it.
So you've learned from your big brother. Good boy.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear about you bitching about it. just point it out there.
It's just taking you this long to actually get good at it, that's all.
Landmines are like sharks. They only bite one. That's very true, actually. That's very true, right? But no, the best ground support for true close-in ground support aircraft, right? If you're going to take away helicopters, okay, is an A-10.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
the Warthog is quite efficient.
Yeah, quite efficient, quite effective. Can loiter around for long periods of time and provide all sorts of freaking support because it can carry a ton of shit. And let's be honest, it can take a lot of damage for an airframe.
And it sounds really good when it goes on one of its little. I'm going to shoot everything that moves.
All right.
And it does sound good, doesn't it?
And it can carry a lot of Hellfire missiles.
Yes.
What is it? It's like 18. You can carry 18 of those things.
Something like that. Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, you literally took a tank, put a jet engine on it, and threw it up there.
Well, yeah, it worked.
Yeah. Do I
But
look like I'm complaining? I'm just
okay,
saying.
I understand that. But here's my comment about that. Why haven't you bought
Yeah,
any? Why would you buy
because
flipping F-35s and not friggin' a whole passel load of A-10s?
I don't know. I agree. You are correct. Though, in all honesty, I mean, we're basically going with the AH-64s as our air support. Let's piss things off. Now, I know the A-10's much better. I'm not going to argue that in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I mean,
But we do have one or two 64s. Come on.
the Apaches give you a different, different capabilities, and I'm not going to deny that the capabilities of the Apaches are junk, okay? Because they're not. They're very effective,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
especially if you're doing a combined arms type of rotational type of thing. But having an A-10 sitting in the back, right,
Mm-hmm.
gives you so many more options.
Yeah, the abject terror as you take off and the enemy realize what's about to happen.
Well, just seeing one in the air and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Exactly. No, it literally it causes fear. I agree.
Okay, it's would you have something that is okay? Well, let's start with the fact that, as Jensen said, we kind of went with the German mentality. You start with the gun and you build out from
Yeah,
there. All right, and we did that.
yeah,
We did
yes.
that with a 30 millimeter chain gun. Right.
Come on, the Avenger is a lovely little toy, isn't it?
All right, it's 30 millimeter rounds are nothing to sneeze at, and I guarantee you, there's people who are like, well, if 30 is good, 40 is better. They're looking around to see if they can get people to agree. All right, you know
Uh-huh.
that that's true, Jensen.
Oh, I do, and I'll be completely honest. I'm quite surprised that they haven't knocked up something like that. Now, I do know that America is making the newer version of the F-22, the apparently even more stealthier than the 22. So that's going to be fun.
Well, this leads to
And
the
yeah,
next question,
Bert is right. Go on.
which leads us to the next question. Why didn't you buy the F-23s?
Good question.
Instead of saying, okay, we did this. Now, I will admit that they the government may have said no, okay, and we're not going to allow them to be sold. All right, especially the technology.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Yeah.
YF-23, which was the experimental version that went against the F-22, okay,
Yeah.
had flaws, but it had capabilities that the F-22 didn't. And when it came
Yes.
to stealth, they were equivalent. Okay,
Which ain't bad. Yeah.
so it came down to performance in certain areas. Which one you're going to have to pick one performance over the other. Now I
And
know
let's
we
be honest, mate.
let's well hold on because I'm going to give you guys some
Yeah.
credit here.
Go on.
Your airframe boffins, all right, are
Mm-hmm.
absolutely brilliant in things like this. The one of the
It's
problems
kind
that
of
with
their
the
thing.
F-23 was is you would have had to found a way to increase the power plant thrust. And
Yes.
there's no doubt in my mind, rather, given that set of circumstances, the British wouldn't have done that and pulled it off because that's
Oh
what you
yeah.
guys have always done.
Yes.
So why not purchase the F-23? Why would you
Good
purchase
question.
an F-35? It's a flying It's a
Computer.
flying
Come on.
sausage. Okay, it's a round freaking sausage flying in the air. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No.
All
It
right.
does look like it's pregnant though, doesn't it?
It
Come
it,
on.
it is freaking. It's it, the electronics package that they put on that is phenomenal. I'm not going to deny that.
Yes.
Okay, and when you're using it full up in that kind of a mode with the rest of the combine arms and everything else, it's great.
Hmm.
Okay, and for what it's doing, but it's not what you guys. Let's be honest, it's not what the British needed.
No.
Right? You needed
Then
a
again, we've got the
YF-23.
Typhoon,
Oh my god!
but we've got the Typhoon.
You're gonna try and talk up the Eurofighter next? Is that your solution?
Could you not tell I was taking the mickey? Look,
hell,
okay,
even the Swede vegans are far superior to the Typhoons, and you know that that's true.
No, they are actually. The Saab Vegan is actually quite an efficient little toy. But this, again, this goes back to the conversation we had off air when we was talking about the Pax Americana and us two working together. Can you imagine our scientists and your scientists getting together? The absolute freaking horror that's going to happen to everyone else when we put something in the air.
Well,
and I say we, being the pair of us. We put something in the air, and the rest of the world goes, "What the fuck was that?"
Well, the last time that we did that, the world went, "What the hell was that?" Because we created an artificial sun on the Earth.
Like I said, imagine the
put it out
terror.
there.
Yeah, no.
And we would have been the
That's
only
my
ones
point.
with it if you guys would have shut your mouths.
I'm sorry, this is coming from the guy who likes to point out that Americans love to talk. Do you remember that?
We
bit? Do you remember that
do.
conversation?
We do like to talk, but we were not sitting there hiring freaking Russian commies to sit up there and go, "Here, look at our secret programs."
That's true. You was just hiring Germans. Oh,
And we weren't,
sorry.
and we didn't sit there and go, "Well, we could give you a better jet engine, but well, let's just have a pool match, and if you win, then we'll give you the titanium plans for your new jet engine for the MiG-15s." You remember that one?
Yeah.
We have never done that. Okay.
Yeah. No. Both sides have made mistakes. Okay. I am willing to accept that some mistakes were made by the Brits as well. Okay.
Most of our mistakes,
not
though, just most of our mistakes are things like you have something that works. Yeah, we got something that worked. Why'd you get rid of it? Had to go. But it worked. No, but it had to go.
Yeah,
This thing's a piece
most
of
of
shit.
your mistakes. It is more of a question of how many people died making it.
Making the mistake.
Tell me I'm wrong.
As a result, quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
But how many people died making the mistake? Nobody. I mean, they made the mistake. I mean,
yeah, no, I'm just
the
thinking,
cost is later on.
I'm just thinking the first jet pilots that were breaking the barrier. Okay, you lost a couple. Don't. I'll be fair. So did we. But more than a few decided to leave their body behind. Usually because it was going faster than their soul was.
What?
But
I mean,
back in the
day. I mean, well, let's put it this way. You know about the P-47, which is the American Thunderbolt, right?
Yeah.
And how rugged
yes,
it was?
Of course. Actually, I like that craft, I've got to say.
Did you know that craft actually broke the sound barrier?
No, I did not.
You could break the sound barrier in that craft going into a dive.
Power diving. Yeah, but did the wings fall off?
No. Stayed intact all the way into the ground.
Okay. We're going to get it. We're 6 foot from the floor. I don't care. We did it. Boom. But we did it.
The problem was, all right, it was tough enough to handle. The problem was is once you go supersonic, the control surfaces no longer work. So you completely had no control at that point. But the P-47 was in a dive actually could break the sound barrier. A prop-driven plane could actually break the sound barrier.
That is actually quite terrifying.
I mean, you think about that, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it was a flying dump truck, all right? meant to add weight to it in flight as the enemy added weight to your plane. All right, that's what it was meant to do.
Nomad, let's be honest. It was basically the great grandpa to the A10.
It was.
I wasn't.
Same kind of philosophy.
Yes.
All right. And you can't argue that it didn't work. I mean, the results were there.
Hell
I
yeah.
mean,
Hell yeah.
And it's not the. And once again, it was not. It was not a pretty plane. It was not a beautiful plane. If you take a look at a Spitfire against a P-47, you're like, that thing looks like a dog. That thing looks like a dump truck because it is. But it could take hits that the British Spitfire that couldn't do some of the maneuvers the British could do. Right? It was not.
Yeah.
It was not nimble. Was not the word I would use.
Let's be honest. It went forward really, really fast. Sometimes down really, really fast. But that was pretty much it.
It could go down pretty fast. It could, and you could, if you saw the enemy and dove on him, he was screwed. Which is what it was meant for. All right. And if the enemy said, "Oh, I see you," then you could go, "Okay, catch me, bitch."
Yeah.
It was very effective. All right.
Yeah.
Boom and zoom. American philosophy of fighter aircraft. Boom and zoom. British philosophy.
Yeah.
Turn, shoot.
Yeah. We dance like butterflies, whereas you guys
come in, get it done, go home. It's military.
Yeah, that's assuming you get to go home because, like you said, maneuvering is an optional extra with your vehicle. I think a better description really is not call them airframes, just call them jet engines with a desperate hope.
Well, no, okay, now our new airframes are you're not going to outmaneuver. You are not going to outmaneuver an F-22.
No, I agree.
And that's assuming you even saw it. I mean, of all the airframes that we've had, the F-22, another one that you're not going to outmaneuver is an F-15.
My dude, I would like this made absolutely clear in front of everyone. The F-15 is my favorite airframe that exists. I love that thing.
And you didn't buy them either. You know who bought F-15s from us back in the day?
Everyone else. Go on.
Not everyone else.
Saudis.
Only a few.
Saudis.
Right?
Didn't they ended up with them, didn't they?
Who?
Saudis.
No, well, we did give some to the Saudis afterwards.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew it.
But no, back in the day, when a certain individual was still in control of Iran, we sold a bunch of them to Iran.
Oh, that was a plan. Mm-hmm.
Well,
then again, the Shah of Iran was a friend, technically.
He was, and everything was fine until he fell.
Exactly.
And then they said, the Iranians were like, "Oh, we got these F-15s," and we said, "Yes, good, congratulations, but we have all the spare parts."
Yeah.
And so, for the most part, they were grounded during the Iran-Iraqi war. They were only able to put up, I think, a total of 10 F-15s that they had in there. And they had hundreds in their arsenal.
Oh wow! Though let's be honest, Matt. Okay, your country's kind of known for leaving absolutely huge amounts of military hardware behind. I can't think of anywhere that might have happened. Literally 2, maybe 3 years ago now. Can you?
Yeah, I'm not arguing that point. But that's because we get idiotic leaders like Potato Head.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Dude, I'm actually not going to blame the military for this one. I'm blaming the idiot that pretended to be in charge.
Yeah. The tapioca boy was the one who came up with that plan.
Yeah, that just glorious, man. I mean, okay, I've got to say it as a soldier. All right, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, but us Brits, we've got these round things with metal bits at the end. If you pull it out, a handle flies off and you throw it into the hangars. We call them hand grenades. Do you guys have these at all?
We have hand grenades.
And the reason you didn't use them to stop the bloody Taliban from getting
they're for killing troops. They're not for destroying equipment.
Yeah, you bung 2 hand grenades.
Could be used that way, but we're not trained.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be real blunt with you. When it comes to blowing up equipment, blowing up our own equipment.
Yeah, I know it's C4 for.
We just don't. Well, no, that would be nice, but We're terrible at it. We are absolutely horrible at it. And I'm not exaggerating this. Okay?
Fair.
I mean, I was on a mountaintop in front of, overlooking the DMZ in Korea, right? And I took a look at what our plans were should the balloon go up and we had to evacuate, for going over the process of equipment destruction, right?
Yeah.
And I was reading the documents and I was looking at this stuff, and they didn't have. I want you to understand this. Our commanders prior to this had no problem with the plans that these idiots came up with, right?
Oh,
and I'm
God,
looking at this and I'm like, okay, you've got a meter square for not quite a meter, but it was a big square uh, pile, or it was about 6 inches thick. All right, and like I said, made a square of about 2 foot by 2 foot, really, right?
Gotcha.
Of thermite.
Yeah, sorry.
And
Thermite and I are old friends. Go on.
And their plan was, well, if we need to destroy the crypto, we'll just pop these tiny little thermite grenades on top of them. I'm like, why don't we use this big piece of thermite?
Yes.
And they were like, but that's for destroying documents. I'm like, paper burns. It doesn't matter what you use to burn paper. I don't think that is meant to destroy documents. This thing was meant to take a rack of equipment and turn it into metal slag, and these idiots were busy trying to go, oh no, let's put a thermite grenade on each one of these things. Even though the document even says, don't try to destroy crypto with thermite because it's a thermite grenade because it's not good enough.
Yeah. Wow.
And I looked at these guys and I said, okay. Yeah. And I waited for that guy to leave because when I took over, and I said, okay, here's how we're doing things now.
The not stupid way. Gotcha.
Okay, you've got a freaking concrete bunker. All right, it's fairly small, but it's a nice concrete bunker that we use for our ammo. We're going to take all the freaking crypto in there. We're going to put this big block of thermite on it, right? We're going to shut the door as we pull the lanyard and shut the door and let it burn itself into the ground. I don't care if it melts to China. Well, back to the United States anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing this out.
No.
And it was so much quicker. It was so much faster. All right. And I proved it. And yet these fucktards, when I left, went right back to the old way of doing it. I was like, you people, you are some of the dumbest motherfuckers.
Okay. I'm going to say it. Let's be honest, dude. Okay. The army, whether it be us or you lot, we really are quite hidebound in the way we do things. It really can be difficult to get them to change. Now, can't it?
It can, but common sense at some point has to come in.
Okay. No. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Suggesting that the military has common sense. What is wrong with you? Have you never met these people?
Well, okay. Now I will admit that there's good reason that they have this attitude. Okay, you gotta understand that. Right, during the Korean War. Right, you had the Chinese come over in a big horde, right?
Yeah.
And you one of the areas where they basically hit was the Choson Reservoir.
Okay. All right.
Now, what they did is they surrounded, I think it was the 2nd Marine Division on the Choson Reservoir. Right, completely surrounded it. 2nd Marine Division. Okay. Commander of the 2nd Marine Division was the kind of commanders that we produce. His name was his name was Chesty Puller.
Okay. Of course he was. All right.
This is someone.
Good name.
This is someone who started off as a buck private and went all the way up.
Oh God.
Went all the way up the ranks, and he was every bit the cigar smoking, hard drinking, fighting, battling-ass bastard you could ever think of. Right? That's who he was.
So basically, he's one that we could have respect for, is what you're telling me. Gotcha.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Not like most of them. Let's be fair, man.
He, knowing that they were surrounded, they were like, okay, we got to get back to our lines. we can't evacuate. All right, we have no evacuation route. We're going to have to do it the hard way. Now, the one thing, of course, that we did have is we could supply our men with, over the air, right, through airdrops and things like that. And I got a story about that too. During their retreat from the Chosin Reservoir, the 2nd Marine Division mauled 12 Chinese divisions.
That does not even vaguely surprise me.
Went through,
Sounds about reasonable. In all fairness, sorry, man, go on.
It was very simple, and he had a very simple philosophy. You go, 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 go. When they stop, you stop, pull back a little bit, hit it with everything you have to open that hole back up, and then go back through the hole. And they went through 12, and at the time, our divisions were about, 15,000, 10,000 men, right? Their divisions were 20,000 men or more. We went through 12 of those.
Let's be completely blunt here, mate. Okay, we're both army. We both understand how the arguments between the army and the Marines, but I'm actually going to show Marines a little bit of respect here. To be fair, I'm surprised they didn't just attack Peking. We got lost. Oops, sorry. Oh, look, we're in the middle of Peking. Now, what do we do?
Well,
I mean,
fording the river would have been an issue. The Marines, look, if you want Marines to go take an objective, you got an objective that you want the Marines to do. Telling them go over there and chew on that rod. Don't go over there and chew on that rod. You can't argue with their training. All right, they are trained to be very single-minded when it comes to the objective, and one way or another, the objective will be theirs.
Let's be honest, mate. They're the attack dogs. You point, you click, they kill. Then the army come in and clean up the mess.
They have a specific role, right? And they are as long as there's water nearby, they're very effective. They do need water, right? They don't do very good when you send them in the middle of Afghanistan, for example. That was freaking stupid. Right.
Yeah. But then again, it's in their name, dude. Marine. The subtle clues are there.
They do have a tradition, and their traditions they're very hidebound kind of traditions and so forth. So I can't argue that. By the way, during one of the airdrops, okay, because of the weather and everything, they were worried about the troops that were marching. Their guns, with the barrels pointed up, would get water in them and rust. Right?
Yeah.
So the solution, of course, being what they are, is like, okay, tie a piece of plastic over the top of it, right? Put a piece of plastic over the top of it, right? So what kind of rubberized plastic do you have in abundance in the military?
You use condoms. I know, it's well known. I mean, seriously, it is famous.
And it works. It does work.
I agree.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that aspect of it. But during one of the airdrops, the top layer of one of the boxes that landed near Chesty Puller, and he was one of the ones who opened it up. So, like I said, this guy's a mensch. All right, he was not one of these guys who just sits back and let things happen. No, he's there in the front lines. He's kicking people in the butt. Move it. He is not. If he's by himself, he's shooting freaking people on his own. I mean, the guy was everything you could imagine a guy could be. Let me get his picture. Let me put his picture up because it is an absolute hilarious picture of it. Let me see if I can find this thing here. Most highly decorated soldier we've ever had.
I'm going to guess he's got the CMOH.
Yes, he does.
I would bloody well hope so, but I wanted to make sure.
He has that. Okay. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can get this here. Oh no, that's not big enough. I gotta get a big picture of this guy.
Yeah. I sense that Walmart has irritated you, TM.
Oh,
I don't know how it is. I guess
what did Walmart do?
That's what I'm trying to find out. But he's, to put it bluntly, fuck Walmart, fuck Subaru, fuck working on cars for free. Hey, to be fair, I'm okay with that.
It's only giving me these small little thumbnail pictures. Maybe I need to go to this. I am not gonna tolerate that because you have got to see this guy.
Okay.
You know what? You know what I'll do. You know what I'll do here is I'll show you these in Discord here.
In Discord, no worries. And you asked what was wrong. He was saying wrong oil filter.
Wrong
not
oil
being
filter.
exact. Yeah. Okay,
all right.
What are we looking at? Stream loading. Still loading. Still loading. I'll let you know when loading changes.
Okay.
You'll carry on chatting to the nice people.
Yeah, people can't freaking figure out what.
Hello
what
there.
is.
Oh my lordy, that man literally looks like he chews tanks.
Like I said,
okay.
When you think Marine, this comes up.
Yeah.
This is the guy that you're like. You almost get a Woody when you see you're looking at this guy. You're like, yeah, that's a guy.
He gets a free salute, plus the fact that got a bulldog with him, so that's cool.
This is somebody you got. You get you're driving along and you get into a fender bender. You get out. This guy got out of the car. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that is the moment you realize I done fucked up. Okay, all right, fair point.
So, it's there are certain people, right? That let's be honest,
yes,
that fit everything. They are everything you want them to be, right? Or everything you expect them to be.
Yes.
It's rare when it happens, but he was one of them.
I totally agree.
Okay.
I am fine with that as a description.
But when he found that well, like I said, when he was opening up one of the airdropped supply containers, and about the first inch of it, they had littered it with condoms, right? Because it does make a good, rubberized kind of landing thing, right? But he opens it up, sees all these things, and goes, "What the hell do these son of a bitches think we're doing to these Chinese?"
Huh? Just responding to TM, he's asked what we missed. In all fairness, mate, we have done so much freaking chatting. It's literally not worth me trying to type it out. Basically, we talked about everything, predominantly World War II, how good various planes are, and then the terminal incompetence of your potato in chief. And that is the quickest version of what we talked about. At any point, do you disagree with me?
No. That's pretty much it. But he started with Tim Walls, okay, and I did not bring him up.
No, that was me. That was my fault, and I still say that man is scum. In fact, you know what? He's not scum because scum is at least useful.
The guys that
if you wonder
the guy
what
needs
you
to
use
have
scum for,
the guy would be
it.
Humanity as a whole probably would be better off if he didn't exist.
Yes, a literal waste of DNA. And that is going to be your VP.
My opinion. But yeah. Anyway, back to enough talking about Korean War and Chesty Puller.
Yes.
Wouldn't you love to freaking follow somebody like that in war?
Like I said, he deserves.
I mean, he would be a hard ass, and you'd probably hate your life, but you'd be like, I'm going to follow this guy anywhere. Yeah, but he's making your life miserable. Yes. It doesn't matter. This guy.
No, Mad. If that man pointed at the gates of hell and say, "Come on, lads, let's go," you're going over the top with him.
Yeah, I am.
All right then. Okay. Look, he's in the wrong country for me, and I'd go over with him. All right. I mean, I've worked with you guys a couple of times, but that dude, yeah, all right. He's cool. What the frick happened to the rest of them? Have you seen the Nancy's that you got nowadays?
Don't
Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to say Nancy's. The questionable gender individuals that you've got as your leaders nowadays.
I have no comeback.
And TM, as long
Actually,
as
I
what
take
you're
that
calling
back.
for is arc light,
I
yes.
take that back. I do have a comeback.
Yeah?
Yeah, as compared to yours.
Hey, we were the experts at Nancy Boys. Okay. Just remember this. We were professional Nancy Boys.
Anyway, on to the British. Since we're talking about the stream was my idea of this stream initially was me to ask questions about the British way of doing things. We had been talking
Yes.
about this. We had been talking about this offline, which is why I decided to do the stream. Right.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about it now. All right. You agree?
Remember, almost every question you ask, I'm going to counter with, are we talking as it should be or as it is now?
I'm talking about
Okay.
as it, for the most part it'll be as it is now because I do not understand your systems of doing things, but and I fully admit that. Okay, and if as long as you think it works for you, as long as you consider it working for you, I'm not going to argue because it's your country. You make a mess of it as you want. All right.
We are. Don't worry. We are. We're doing well at it.
So the next question I have concerning all this is obviously there's the riots that have been going on and so forth that are related to the immigration. What for lack of a better term, the immigration riots.
Yes.
Right. Are they really taking place as seriously in as many areas and as serious as the media is portraying, or are they just something that's happening here and there? And for the most part, they're very localized.
Okay. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this very, very clearly. My answer may well get me arrested based on the absolute morons that are in charge of my government right now. Do you understand what I've just stated to you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do.
Okay, good. And I do have a follow-up question after this, so get prepared for a chuckle. But I do not believe that most of these air quotes riots are even vaguely real, i.e., they are done by proper rioters. I reckon they're actually controlled riots. They're done by the government to actually draw out people to join in, so as the government have actually got people to target. I believe the term red flag is a appropriate term for you guys. That sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. That is what I truly believe is happening. I mean, are there riots? Yes. Are there homegrown riots? Yes. Are they as bad as they say they are? Sadly, no. I think that a lot of the one, yeah, I know. It's the word sadly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah. But I genuinely think that it is false flagging uphill and down Dow. This thing is being set up. It's a bit like you guys with your Patriot Front.
Yeah.
How they all honestly don't look like feds. Honestly, Governor, stop looking at us.
Yeah, I think that the entire Patriot Front is a government operation. I don't think that
now I have a question.
People that aren't a part of the actual government that are involved in it are going to be the numbers are going to be on one hand.
No. Okay. What's your opinion on the fact that the British police, in its infinite genius, and yeah, I don't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it, but infinite genius, have turned around to the Americans and said to them, and if you get involved in this, we're coming for you as well.
Yeah, that was all you did was cause Americans to go, hold my beer.
I reckon that must have caused hilarity.
That was like, hold my beer, jackass. Oh, it has gotten If you look on Twitter when you call that up,
yeah, I reckon half of Florida has basically grabbed their rifle and said, "Let's go, bitch."
well,
Okay,
they're too busy beating their wives. That's a separate issue.
that's why I said half. Why do you think I said half? No, seriously, I'm not going to disrespect the whole thing that went on between the Brits and the Americans back in that time, but you literally broke away from us for a reason. I'm not saying it was a good one, but when you get threatened by the British Bobbit, and don't forget, we're really dangerous. We may blow a whistle and even pull a truncheon on you. It's not like you have weapons that can deal with truncheons.
Yeah, I don't know where they came about with that. Now, I will say this: the reason that they there is a legitimate reason that they're saying it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it does have an effect, right? Because
Yes.
unfortunately, we still have air bases in your nation.
Yes.
Right? And so for the stupid soldiers and airmen, all right, who are on those bases, that threat is real. Okay?
Yes.
And I think that that's why they did it. Okay? To cause the commanders of those areas to tell their soldiers, don't step over the line with it.
Yeah.
That's what I think that they're doing. And why they're doing it. But if you when they flat out threatened Elon Musk,
That was funny.
all right. Well, first of all, most Americans, we don't look at Elon Musk as one of us, all right, or
No, he's not.
didn't.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
Right? He got a lot of cred all of a sudden because of that stupid statement.
Yeah.
Right? Just pointing it out. Okay.
The British government made a mistake, and that's me being as politically accurate and polite as I can. They have made a boo-boo. I feel that this is not going to go how they think it is.
It's going to
Yeah.
get ugly. I don't know what they understand what's going to happen in America. Okay. One of the problems that they're having right now is I did a story yesterday, right, where the governor of Virginia, okay, purged the voter rolls of non-U.S. citizens. Over 6,000 non-citizens were registered to vote in the state. 6,000.
Dude, I don't want to break this to you, but you had about 20,000 dead people voting apparently last time.
Well, that the dead thing. That's kind of it's an American thing, especially in Chicago. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
People
Just saying. So
people don't know
having
this.
illegals vote.
People don't know this, but the number of dead that voted in Chicago during I believe it was the 1960s election.
Yeah.
Flipped the state of Illinois. Okay. And flipping the state of Illinois was what was necessary for JFK to win. JFK would not be president if the dead had not voted in Chicago.
I've got nothing I really want to say to that. I'm just going to shake my head and leave it there.
You know who would have been president then?
No, actually, I don't. Who would it?
Richard Nixon.
Well, that don't really mean much because the bugger got in anyway. Granted,
it would have changed the dynamic. Okay, it would have changed. First of all, the Democrats were able to push a lot of nonsense, right, from a Fifi's perspective because of JFK, because they martyred him. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
people talk and they lionize JFK and they talk about it, and not JFK was an old school American Democrat. Okay, he was an
Yeah.
American first before he was a Democrat. Okay, I'm not saying he was a good president. Okay,
He did have one or two
he had a
points that were questionable.
right, but he was an America first guy. Okay, and he wasn't
Yeah.
a woke lunatic. Okay,
No.
that all said, all right, there's one thing. So this goes down to something else that a lot of people. There's a lot of people who believe that, of course, there was a government plot to kill JFK.
Yeah.
Okay, and that the Warren Commission, okay, covered it up.
You don't sound like you do believe that.
I believe that the Warren Commission covered something up. Okay,
Okay.
but I don't believe that it was a government plot to kill. Okay, and the reason I say that is, first of all, I believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. Okay, this is now you gotta understand this is Nomad's personal belief. But the bullet that actually killed Kennedy did not come from Lee Harvey Oswald.
This is something that has been said.
All right, and it didn't come from a grassy knoll with a second shooter.
Yeah.
Okay. What I think.
Okay. So.
And here's my conspiracy theory, my little tinfoil hat thing. Okay. This is what I honestly believe. Okay. I do believe Lee Harvey Oswald did try to shoot and kill President Kennedy. In the response, when the bullets started flying, the Secret Service reacted. Now, the Secret Service at that point was armed with the first versions of the M14.
Yeah.
Which was known, if you jarred it, to fire around unintentionally. And I think
I kind of want to make silly, but I'm not going to. Go on.
And I think that the Secret Service, and as they started to react and were grabbing their weapons, all right, that one of them accidentally discharged and killed Kennedy. That was the bullet that actually hit him in the head.
I can't do it. So what you're saying is he died to friendly fire. No, can't see that happening in it from the Americans.
Okay, now why do I believe that? Okay,
go on.
Okay, in order for there to be a cover up, the kind of cover up that okay, well, the CIA was going to cover this up, right? Let's say it was a CIA plot. The problem with that is you need to have control of certain other elements like the DOJ, right, to help cover it up, right?
Yeah, but the DOJ was kind of working against him because what wasn't his brother part of that?
All right. So there's no way. There's no way that his brother was going to sit up there and say, "Oh, the CIA didn't do it." If the CIA did,
no.
Okay. Yeah. But his brother sure as hell would cover up the fact that the death blow came from a Secret Service own weapon and a fuck up of that magnitude. That is something that he would perfectly be able to sit up there and deal with, and have the capability of dealing with. All right. So this is when you listen to the Warren Commission and you listen to the things that the Warren Commission says, and you're like, well, wait a minute, there's some of these other things just don't mesh well. That's why they don't mesh well. Okay. And so you end up with this situation. Okay, do you admit to the American people that we killed our own president? That the people who were assigned to protect him were the ones who shot him. Now, think about if you actually made that statement to the American people.
There would be hell to pay.
Oh, there would be. And you want to talk about conspiracy theories coming out? The conspiracy theories about rogue CIA and everything else are pikers compared to, oh, the Secret Service of Praetorian Guard kind of assassination, which was what would have come out. All right, it was what would have
Yeah.
been said. Okay,
Yeah.
and especially over something that was what was probably a tragedy in that regard. Because the Secret Service had already screwed up. Let's be perfectly frank. Because the president was being shot. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a reality. Okay, the president was being shot. Okay, the guy was shooting. So like I said, I do believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did intend to do it. I do believe that there's probably some people that were supporting him in his attempt to kill the president. Okay, I do, however, believe that he was the lone, quote unquote, intentional shooter. All right, there.
Yeah.
And I think the cover up that they're trying to cover up is the fact that his death was an absolute tragic travesty. Okay,
Yeah.
of utter incompetence, because that's what the American government would do, and that is something that I can see his brother signing off on. I can't see him signing off on the fact that there were elements within the CIA that tried to kill him. I can't. That's just not. It's just not gonna. His brother didn't care about being president. All right, he runs for president later on, but at the time his brother didn't care about being president. All right.
Yeah. It's a good job that your country has never had a high official like that having people shooting at them where there was questions about the Secret Service. It's great that definitely didn't happen this year or anything.
Hey,
just saying.
I'm just pointing out to you, decades make a difference, okay?
No, I agree, and I can't exactly say much. Over here, we've had more than a few raving nut jobs trying to kill high-ranking people. Cough, cough, the IRA.
Well, yeah,
but at least they were
okay.
professional.
Let's be honest about your IRA officials, okay? With all due respect to the IRA, all right. If you want to kill a high official, and you're bound and determined, notice how the Americans do it. Okay?
Yeah.
We go out there personally, get close and in person to try and deal with the situation ourselves.
Yes.
We don't mail it in. Okay?
No.
All right? I just want that to understand.
I say this in a more generalized statement, but you generally don't phone up beforehand and warn people that you're going to do it either.
No, we normally make our
generally.
This younger generation kind of does.
Yeah, but look, we're not talking about the idiots nowadays. Okay, I'm talking about when men were men, and
yeah, generally you're correct. Yeah. We were also far more the targets that were being the targets of the people. We were far more successful than what they've done for your guys. Let's be honest. The IRA was not all that successful. Now they had a success here and there but comparatively, the number of times an American president or a presidential official has been shot, okay, successfully, okay, not even necessarily killed, but even just shot. All right, we got a pretty good record there. We've missed a few times, okay, I'm not going to deny that. All right, but overall, they've been pretty effective. Now you've had the first one, the first recorded assassination attempt of a president was back in the early 1800s, all right, and that was an attempt by a guy to kill Andrew Jackson. Okay. The guy came up to Andrew Jackson as Andrew Jackson was walking in front of the White House, right, and pulled a pistol, stuck it in his chest, and click.
Gutted. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pulled a second pistol, stuck it, click.
Click.
By that time, Andrew Jackson had pulled up his cane and proceeded to beat the son of a bitch unconscious. Okay.
I'm okay with that as a concept. I really am.
This is a 60, 70-year-old man beating some young punk who tried to shoot him with a gun. Okay. That was the first recorded assassination attempt, all right, on an American president's life. Okay.
Okay.
Since then,
Mm-hmm.
they've been fairly successful. Okay.
Yeah.
For example,
I mean, go
there
on.
you have the next assassination, of course, is Lincoln.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that was successful much. Mm-hmm.
That was a one-on-one six emperor Tyrannus, right? Didn't get
Yeah.
away. They never do, right?
No.
I want you to understand this. They're never going to get away. Right? The next one,
In all fairness, they're not
um,
really. It's not going to happen, is it?
yeah. Let me. I want to make sure I get the name right.
Yep. Yep. No worries, mate.
The next one.
Just so as we are clear, I basically consider my knowledge of American presidentials is basically Reagan and the idiot that shot him because he fancied Jodie Foster.
Well, okay. That's another one.
Yeah, I know, but that is literally where my history really starts. I know prior to that, you had Mr. Smiley, i.e., Jimmy Carter, that everyone apparently hated and used to be the worst president, and now you developed the potato head. Now, apparently, he actually has managed to beat Jimmy Carter as the worst president, which is quite impressive.
Well, okay. So the next president to get assassinated was 20 years later. Well, about 20 years
Okay.
later. Right? That was James Garfield. Right?
I've heard of that name. Mm-hmm.
And he barely wins the election. All right. And is then takes a bullet from an anarchist.
Yeah.
All right. Then you have Harding or was it McKinley? I think it was McKinley. Then you have McKinley, 1900s, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets killed. Now, who's his vice president?
Go on. I actually don't.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Really?
Theodore Roosevelt. Right?
Oh.
Just
Yeah, I've heard of him.
yeah. 8 years later, he's on the campaign trying to run for a third stint, right? And a guy comes up and shoots him at a campaign speech. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
the people around there beat the guy and they haul him off and everything. He finishes his speech and then comes back and go, okay, time to go get the medical things because he had been hit with the bullet. It just didn't kill him.
Fair.
All right, so he basically did the rest of his speech with a bullet in him while he sat there and acted like nothing happened to him.
Mm.
Okay, just pointing this out. Now, the next president that dies in office, of course, is an assassinated, right? And that, of course, is FDR.
Yeah.
Or was that no? The next one that died was after McKinley was Harding, right? And he's killed by an anarchist in the in the
Damn those
1920s.
anarchists.
Then
Mm-hmm.
comes Roosevelt, right?
Yeah.
Then comes after Roosevelt you have JFK, right?
Yeah.
After JFK you have
Reagan.
Reagan.
Mm-hmm. Who
And
didn't die.
he also didn't die, but he was shot.
Yeah. Though I stand by this completely. The best one he ever done was like after being shot at, etc. Was he was standing there giving a speech, a car backfired or a balloon burst or something, and he went, "You missed me," and that was glorious right there. That man just gets 10 points for absolute having the balls. Okay, that was absolutely fucking great, and I don't care who you are.
But my point is that when the Americans decide to kill our own presidents, which happens about every 20 years, on average,
Yeah.
you know, ever since the first one, the first person who died in office, right, which was
Mm-hmm.
William Henry Harrison. Now,
Okay.
why is that important? It's important because when he dies, who becomes president? Okay, the vice president. But see,
Hmm.
that's never happened before. So there were a lot of people who were like, okay, but you're only there as a caretaker role. We're going to have a new election and everything. And he said, no, these are the rules. We're going to follow the rules. I am now the president. All right. And
Fair.
Tyler only serves the rest of his term, right? And does not run for reelection. But it did create a precedent of, okay, now the vice president, if the president dies, the vice president does become the president.
Okay,
And
I have a question for you. It's
mhm.
right, just to interrupt slightly, because Tim and I were discussing about worst presidents and stuff. Didn't you have a guy called Taft? Wasn't he considered an absolute screw up? Am I
Okay,
correct with the right name?
people do. Okay, who was Taft?
I was. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure again.
Taft
No,
is made fun
no,
of because Taft was bigger than I was. Okay, fat wise.
I'll be honest, there's nothing wrong with it in all
There
fairness. Can he
is
do his job?
there is when you have to call in the White House servants to help you get out of the tub because you wedged yourself in and are stuck.
Oh, oh God, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
all right. Now Taft was, by the way, prior to becoming president, was the vice president. All right,
Okay.
under Theodore Roosevelt,
Oh, okay.
and he then basically Theodore Roosevelt serves his 2 terms, steps aside, and his wife slapped him for it, but he stepped aside. Right. Taft then, was given what they call the bully pulpit, and he won that. In the next election, Taft loses because Theodore Roosevelt runs again and tries to create a third party called the Bull Moose Party, right? And they end up splitting the
Mm-hmm.
Republican votes.
Ah,
And so who becomes president?
go on.
Woodrow Wilson.
Ah.
Okay. Now, Woodrow Wilson wasn't Satan incarnate, but he was a leftist incarnate, so you can say he was a minion. Okay, just putting that out there.
Okay.
The country would have been a hell of a lot different if Theodore Roosevelt would have been alive during World War One.
Yeah.
Had been president during World War One. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Taft then his worldview is not over. Taft then is nominated and then becomes the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Uh-huh.
He's the only president to have served on the Supreme Court.
Oh. Okay.
So, just he was not an idiot. Okay, he was just fat. Okay.
TM is saying he invented the League of Nations, predecessor of the UN.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
Oh,
Woodrow Wilson.
Wilson.
Yes, Woodrow Wilson.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Which is why the
Oh,
ire,
sorry.
TM's understands the ire in my voice when I said Woodrow Wilson, because when I said he's a leftist, because he is, because he was. He was a racist son of a bitch of a leftist. He's the perfect example of what the left actually is. Still to this day.
No, Mad, you can't say. Everyone knows that Democrats are nothing but lovely to.
Okay, Woodrow Wilson stood up there and said,
joking, right?
in the government, stood up there and said, "How dare you not have segregated workplace? Why is that black person working next to a white person in this government office? Put them." Yes, he did that. He separated so that they could not be working with white people in the government building, in government facilities. They've been working there for freaking decades, no problems. Woodrow Wilson changed that. That's who Woodrow Wilson was. When I say he was a racist, I'm not exaggerating this. He was a full-blown bigot. Okay?
Okay, hold up. Remember that my knowledge of this is basically zero. Okay, you understand? Where was this Woodrow Wilson from? Was he like some deep South,
Woodrow Wilson
plantation
was
owner or nothing?
prior to taking office. Woodrow Wilson was the president of Princeton University in New Jersey.
Oh my God, you can't get much more normal. All right, cool. Wow. All right, okay.
The only thing worse would have been if he was part of Harvard, which was one step away.
Yeah, but let's be fair. You consider Harvard basically
I consider all the Ivy League
front
schools
entrance to hell.
I consider all the Ivy League schools have their own entrances. Yale, Harvard, all right, Princeton, Brown, all right, Columbia, right? Columbia has a slide.
Okay.
They don't even have a freaking entranceway. They got a fucking slide. Just put it out there.
I sense you're not a fan of them. Okay.
Okay, let me show you how stupid the people in Columbia are.
Oh God.
They invited the president of Iran. Remember Ahmadinejad?
Yeah.
They invited him to come speak. One of the students got up in his officious kind of thing and said, "Well, how come you treat homosexuals bad in Iran?" He goes, "There aren't any homosexuals," and everyone was laughing. And he turned around and said, "Well, just tell me who they are." And everyone was like, "That's the kind of stupid people." All right, first of all, you invited a cretin. You thought you were smarter than him. You proved that you're not even smarter than an absolute dangerous bigot who murders people because they were homosexual. And you thought it was funny to invite this guy in. I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah, right. Tiny question for you, because again, complete idiot here, free to admit this. That Kent University little thing that you've got problems with. Where is that?
Kent State. Kent State's in Ohio.
Sorry?
Kent State
Ohio.
is in Ohio.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Didn't know. Like I said, I'm happy to admit I'm an idiot. Wasn't certain.
No.
All right. Thank you very much.
The thing is very true. We have lots of universities in the United States. A lot of universities in the United States.
Oh yeah.
We got far more universities around us than and let alone colleges. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone 4-year colleges or even 2-year colleges. We have a ton of universities in the country. Okay.
Yeah.
More than people even can consider. Right. They just do not understand just how big the education industry is in America. All right, across the board.
Mm-hmm.
We have more. We have more schools, I think, than any other nation in the world. Actual schools, right? So people don't understand that the reason we're having problems with our education in America is because it's a freaking racket. All right, that's controlled by the government. It's government controlled business and has all the flaws of a government controlled business now.
Yep.
So I know you're getting ready to go, though. I think we've discussed a lot of little things here. We've been talking for quite a while. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to cover or talk about?
I just want to say that Waltz guy needs to be taken out behind the woodshed and shown where the pretty flowers are, and I think you know exactly what I meant by that.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the SOB either. I mean, I call him a degenerate because he is. All right, he's a full-blown Marxist degenerate. And if he gets in there, if Kamala gets in there, it's not even him. If Kamala gets in there, she's going to hire the same stupid sons of bitches like they had that, like I said, that dress wearing freaking psychopath that was stealing luggage. All right, and say we're going to put you in charge of nuclear security for the United States. That's the kind of people that these people hire. That's when they talk about a DEI hire. That's how they hire. That's who they hire. Okay.
Sad. It really is.
So,
but that's pretty much all I wanted to say was I consider him desperately needing
persona non grata.
a 9 mil injection. Okay.
Yeah, I understand. But good luck to you because you have you have your own irons in the fire with the way things are going in England right now.
Oh my God. Yes.
So, but
It's the internet. I can't say what I want to say, but trust me, it's going to get interesting.
yeah, I know it is. All right, bye bye, everybody.